Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you love football, today's topic is one that's got everyone talking, and it's definitely not your typical NFL drama. We're talking about a hit that left Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence concussed and sparked a full-on brawl. So, what's the deal with this controversial moment? And who's to blame here? Houston Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans thinks he knows. And he's got some bold opinions. Let's break it down. DeMeco Ryans' take on the hit. On Monday, after the dust settled from the Sunday showdown, Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans took the podium and stirred the pot a little. He addressed the hit by linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair on Trevor Lawrence that left the Jaguars' star quarterback with a concussion. Now, most people might expect Ryans to do what any good coach would do: support his player and show some concern for the injured guy. But nope, Ryans did the unexpected and placed the blame squarely on Lawrence. Here's what he had to say during his Monday news conference. "We stand behind Azeez and everything that came from that. Of course, the unfortunate hit on a quarterback. But it's twofold. A lot of the quarterbacks in this day and age, they try to take advantage of the rule where they slide late and they try to get an extra yard." Wait, what? Ryans is saying Lawrence deserved the hit? Well, sort of. He went on to explain that modern-day quarterbacks often try to gain extra yardage by initiating a slide late, which, according to Ryans, leaves defenders with a tough decision to make. Now, you're a defender, and a lot of the onus is on the defender. Whether it's on the sideline or it's on the quarterback, you don't know what a guy is thinking. You don't know if a guy's staying up and he's continuing to run. You don't know, and you get a late slide and you hit the guy. Ryans was clearly defending Al-Shaair's actions. He acknowledges that it was an unfortunate situation, but feels Lawrence's late slide played a part in causing the hit. And then, of course, he added a little advice for quarterbacks everywhere. If we're sliding, you have to get down. What happened on the field? Now, let's break down the play itself. In full speed, it looked like just another tackle, but in slow motion, it's clear that Lawrence had already begun his slide when Al-Shaair launched himself headfirst into the quarterback. While the defender might not have had a ton of time to react, the fact that Lawrence was already giving himself up raises a few questions about Al-Shaair's decision to continue his dive. The collision left Lawrence dazed and out of the game with a concussion. And that's when things got, well, extra spicy. Jaguars players didn't take too kindly to the hit and the sideline erupted in anger. Pushing and shoving ensued, and before we knew it, a full-on brawl broke out on the field. Ryans' reaction to the melee. But wait, Ryans didn't stop there. He wasn't just going to leave it at blaming Lawrence for the slide. He had some thoughts about the aftermath, too. The entire thing is, Azeez hits the guy, but their sideline overreacts, and it turns into a melee. Ryans said, "It wasn't our guys. Their team overreacted, pushed our guy, dragging our guy to the sideline. So that's uncalled for on that side." So, according to Ryans, it wasn't just Al-Shaair's hit that caused the ruckus. It was the Jaguars' sideline reacting too strongly to the situation. And he's right. There was some pretty intense pushing and shoving once the brawl kicked off. In the heat of the moment, though, I'm sure the Jaguars felt like they had to defend their quarterback. The ejections and apologies. As a result of the scuffle, both teams saw players ejected. Azeez Al-Shaair was tossed for his hit, and Jaguars cornerback Jarrian Jones also got the boot for his role in the melee. So, it was a bit of a chaotic scene, one that left the refs with no choice but to hand out some punishment. Later, Al-Shaair publicly apologized for injuring Lawrence. Here's what he said: "I would never want to see any player hurt because of a hit I put on them. Especially one that's deemed late or unnecessary." Note the air quotes around late and unnecessary, those were his own. It's good to see Al-Shaair owning up to the situation. But you can't help but wonder if the apology came after he saw the reactions from Lawrence's teammates. What happens next? Now that the dust has settled, the NFL is expected to weigh in. There's been some chatter about whether this hit warrants additional discipline, and we're all waiting to see if the league takes action. For now, though, DeMeco Ryans seems firm in his stance that Lawrence's actions led to the unfortunate outcome, and that the reaction from the Jaguars' sideline was more than a little over the top. So, what do you think? Was it a dirty hit? Or was Azeez Al-Shaair just doing what defenders do in today's NFL? Was DeMeco Ryans right to place the blame on Trevor Lawrence for the slide? Or should the linebacker have pulled up? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed today's breakdown. Oh, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more fiery football takes. And hey, if you're really feeling this conversation, share this video with your friends. Let's see who's got the best take on this whole situation. Catch you next time. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know, the NFL never fails to deliver drama, excitement, and, let's face it, controversy. And today, we've got a juicy one for you that's been making waves all over the sports world. It's about none other than the Houston Texans linebacker, Azeez Al-Shaair, and an incident that has got everyone talking. What happened, you ask? Well, let me take you through it. But don't worry, I'm going to keep it fun and light. So, let's talk about that infamous moment from the Texans' Sunday game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you missed it, Al-Shaair was ejected after delivering what can only be described as a late hit on Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. And, spoiler alert, this isn't your average hit. It was the kind of hit that has sports fans on social media turning into keyboard warriors, ready to launch their opinions. And of course, sparking debates about player safety and, well, what's too much? But before you start assuming Al-Shaair was some sort of villain on the field, let me hit you with the facts. Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans came to his players' defense. And let's just say, he was not having it with the idea that Azeez is a dirty player. Listen, we're not out here trying to hurt anyone, DeMeco Ryans said, in his usual calm, but firm tone. But there's a lot to unpack here. Oh, and Ryans made sure to point out that he's not just defending his guy because he's on his team, but because he knows how the game goes. He's been there, he knows the drill. But, you know, it's not like he was just throwing around a bunch of jargon for the cameras. He had some pretty interesting points. In case you missed it, the hit on Lawrence was late, really late. The kind of hit that made everyone hold their breath and think, oh boy, that's not gonna sit well with the league. But Ryans had a different perspective. He suggested that, in today's NFL, quarterbacks have developed this little habit of taking advantage of a rule meant to protect them, sliding late in plays, hoping to grab an extra yard or two. And, well, that's exactly what happened in this case. Trevor Lawrence slid, but it was a little late, and Al-Shaair didn't quite have time to stop his momentum. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, but that's still a late hit, right? And you'd be correct. But here's where it gets interesting. Ryans went on to explain that while quarterbacks need to be protected, they also need to take responsibility for the timing of their slides. If you're about to go down, you gotta go down. And if you're running out of bounds, get out of bounds. Easy, right? Well, maybe not so much when you're trying to avoid getting hit by a bunch of 300-pound linebackers. I mean, if we're sliding, we need to make sure we're getting down when we need to. You know, the rules are there to protect quarterbacks. But hey, you can't have it both ways, Ryans said, kind of like the voice of reason we all need right now. However, it wasn't just about defending his player. Ryans acknowledged that Trevor Lawrence did get hurt. And he hoped that Lawrence was okay. No one